Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Eric the Old Jarhead here, and I am so glad that you are here. And trust me, I am super excited because I actually have fixed my sawmill, and it is up and running, and it is running well. And I did a bunch of milling this last week and a half, and I am going to be bringing a bunch of videos to you, starting right here with this one. We're going to knock out some dunnage, then I'm going to make some 2x4's, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm doing it, what I'm doing throughout the video, so I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for being here. Let's get her done. And still running it. All right, folks, well, don't you hate it when you can't find something? I brought my extra glasses out there over the glasses, safety glasses. I got a few pairs of them. I can't find them right now. We've been busy with the 4x4 club all weekend, and now it's time to get milling, and I can't figure out what I did with them, so I'll look for them in a bit. I've milled with just my glasses before, so don't give me too hard a time, but I got my ears, so I'm gonna get going. The first thing I'm gonna do is we just loaded up this little guy. I'm just gonna knock that down to like 6 inches, not even square it up, and then we're gonna buck it into 3-foot sections to make some cribbing out of it. And we're gonna grab any other logs like that we can, just too small for really any other use. And we'll knock them down into either 4-inch or 6-inch cribbing. And then I can make some cribbing set up here, so I don't need the tractor sitting here to throw all of my lumber that I milled onto. Instead, I can put it on the cribbing with enough space between each crib to slide the forks underneath, and then I can just start stacking lumber on it, and that way the tractor can be used for other things while I'm milling. So without further ado, I'm gonna get cracking, folks. Oh man, I love to add a little music, a little rock, or sometimes country to my videos. I don't know what it is. I just love sitting there, you know, to a good beat while watching the mill go back and forth. But I wanted you to notice something here, and I've had this little Husqvarna 455 Rancher for a dozen+ years. It has always treated me really well, folks, but, well, I guess it needs a tune-up. It's still running good flat out, but boy, it doesn't want to idle, so it probably needs a new filter and who knows, plug and all that good stuff. So you'll notice that I actually end up taking it back over under the tree that you can't see and grabbing my little Echo DCS 5000. Folks, I love that saw. I did a review of it about 1.5 years ago. and I still stand by that review. Fantastic little saw. That battery lasts forever. I bought two, really didn't need to. And my wife will run that saw. She loves it too. It's just a super handy little saw to have. I need to get some more chains for it, but you know what? It's just a great saw. So if you wonder whether or not I stand by my reviews, there's your answer. I love that little saw. There is a link down below to Amazon in case you're thinking about getting one. I think I get about $5 if you buy one off Amazon. Folks, those affiliate programs don't do much, but hey, you know what? A few bucks in my pocket doesn't help. Helps encourage me to keep doing these videos, and thank you for that. All right, getting another log loaded up, and I'm gonna let you know what's going on here shortly, so hang in there. Let's get to it. All right, let's take a look. All right, folks, we're a little bit into the sun, but I wanted to kind of show you this. I have a mission to mill some 2x4's, and this could be a good log for those. So if I take my measurements here inside the bark, I'm at 9.5 inches. The 50% rule says that to get a 6-inch cant, I need a 9-inch log. I got that because it only matters on this end, the small end. For 2x4's, if I use dimensional and I'm milling 3.5, well, plus an 8, so 3 5/8, which would be 7 3/8. So I could get 7 3/8 out of the center, but that would mean I would split this pith, and I don't want to do that. So what I need to do is I need to run this log down so that I've got a 4-inch cant out of the center of this log. So this is odds over evens, meaning that if I were to split this guy to get 2 4-inch cants, I'd have to split the pith, which would create inferior lumber. I do not want to split the pith, and I don't want this juvenile wood on the edge of my boards. So I'm going to try to box it into one board, one 2x4. So I've got to cut this down to 3 5/8 of an inch from the center. That means I can take 1 5/8 boards out. I will take out my slab or my cap cut, and then my flitches I'll make at 1 5/8 until I've got this center at 3 5/8. Okay? Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm looking at the sweep of the log. So I'll kind of show you this. If you look at this end, this guy here, I can run my hand under this end. That means it's lifting here, okay? So that suggests that this log comes this way and it kind of kicks up a little bit. That's going to be some stress, all right? And when I roll the log around, this is the other thing I'm looking at, is I'm looking for the sweep in the log. So what I'm looking for is to see if this sweeps like this or out here and out the other end. So it could sweep out the other end and up at the same time, okay? But when I rolled it around, I had a sweep so that that sweep is sideways like this or horizontal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to put face bends into my lumber because I'm going to use those for a wall, for studs on a wall. It's not structural, so the Ponderosa Pine is fine. It's really just to make a filler inside of a pole barn wall. So this is fine. We're going to take the cap cut, take a flitch out, and then we're going to roll it 90. So now my stress is this way, and I'm going to take a cap cut and take a flitch out, and I'm going to roll it again, assuming I've read the log right, which of course is part of it, right? So that's what we're doing. We're going to give it a try. All right, hopefully you can hear me. This is a new method for me to show you how I'm doing what I'm doing, but I thought it might be kind of fun to experiment with this. All right, folks, had to put you in the shade. My camera shut down because it got hot. It's not that hot today, but I guess the sun and these black GoPros don't always get along. I've often wondered if having a white GoPro would be better. But anyway, that's not what this is about. It's just kind of funny. My GoPro 11 died. I got to send that back. You're on my 10 now, and my 10's working okay as long as it's not in the sun. It's getting too hot, so we'll see how long it'll run. But what I've done now is I've taken that cap cut or slab cut off, and I've taken an 1 5/8" flitch cut off. Now I'm going to roll it 90 degrees, and when I do this, I hope you can see it in this video. I'm going to get it flat against my side supports, which I know are set up right. If it's flat against my side supports, there's no reason for me to try to roll it any more than that. Now, a lot of guys will say, you know, roll it 180 to get your perfect width. Honestly, that's just taking more time. And they say, well, I can't trust my side supports. And I'm thinking, well, if you roll it 180 degrees and mill it, you still gotta roll 90 again. Now what? Now you gotta trust your side supports. So one way or another, you gotta learn to trust your side supports. So I'm gonna roll it 90 into the side supports. I'm gonna take that cap cut off, and because the way it's sitting right now, there's a bit of a wow to it like this. So if I take my boards off this way, then they will crown. I don't want that. So what I've done is I've taken this off. I'm gonna roll it up 90 degrees. Now they're sitting like this, okay? Because it was sitting horizontal, it's going to be vertical. This is where I want my height to be set. I really only need to take that cap cut off and make sure that I have about 3 5/8 of an inch of an opening. That's all I need here. I need to look at the small end to get that, but I'm just gonna go to the center, drop 1.5 inches, and away I go. Now I'm doing that because it's too bright for the laser to work just yet. We're gonna get that laser working, trust me, but it's still too bright. Direct sun, they don't work great. Once I get that cap cut done, I won't need to do a flitch cut. I'm just gonna roll it again 90 degrees, and I'm gonna start working towards my width. I might take 1 or 2 flitches out, roll it 90 again. Again, I'm working on height on that next roll. Take a slab cut, call it good, roll it 90. Get that next surface off to get me down to 3 5/8, roll it up, knock it to the deck. That's the plan. Let's see if I do it. So what I'm kind of getting at here is, you know, on these small logs, first of all, you always got to realize you're working off the small end, not the big end. Now, these logs happen to be turned around on me, big end towards the operator side. There's a video I did a while back about building this log deck, and I just literally had a brain fart and ran the logs the wrong way. Normally, when they're smalling like this, I really prefer to mill from the small end. If they're really big, and I'm not sure I can even get the mill past, you know, you're talking 36-inch logs, that kind of stuff, then I tend to run the other way. You know, if I'm milling something that starts at 38 inches and tapers down to 30 or whatever, doesn't matter what the taper is, but if it's big on one end, I want that end near the mill head so that I know what I've got to do to get past it. I may only have to trim off a few inches on either side, down 2 or 3 feet. I can do that with my 28-inch bar, and then away I go, and I don't have to get 3/4 of the way down the log, and then I'm stuck, and now I got to fight to get the mill head back and all that crazy stuff. So in any case, what we're doing here is I'm literally just trying to sneak out a 3 5/8 inch cant right out of the center of this log so I can box that hard in. And I realize I can take a flitch cut or two from the outside, but I'm also dealing with some weighing that is gonna get in my way a little bit here. So you're gonna see me kind of flip this around a little more than you'd normally want to do, because I'm literally just trying to sneak that out of the middle. Now, I will tell you a little bit later on, maybe the next 2 or 3 videos, I'm going to be doing a video that's going to show you how to get the most production out of a log on one of these sawmills. And it is absolutely the minimum amount of rolls to get that log set up so that you can go bang, bang, bang and knock it down to the deck. And I want to thank Magic Man on Forestry Forum, because if it wasn't for him, I'd have never even thought of it. He's the guy that's taught me many things over the years, and I always want to kind of give a shout out to Lynn and just say, hey, thanks, buddy. You've been awesome, and I appreciate your help. And folks, that's something that I think is key in this business. Some of us are always learning. I mean, sure, there's guys out there like Jake Dean who've milled millions and millions of board feet of lumber. It's probably not a lot for him to learn, but there might be. But the rest of us, we're just mortal humans, and we've always got something to learn. So, yep, this log, not the most efficient way in terms of production to get down to that 3 5/8 inch cant. On the other hand, I get down exactly where I wanted to, and I was able to produce the most out of this log. And that was my goal here. It wasn't so much the speed of production as it was getting the most out of it. I'll admit, I probably could have got that one extra 1x, but I was trying to take some weighing off of both sides of that cant, so I got the most 2x4's out of it I could. So you'll see me get to it. I'm gonna let this run a little bit more, so let's get her done. All right, hopefully you saw what I did there. Now, the reason why I did that last kind of silly roll was because after taking the first and the second, and I got to the third, I realized what I needed to do was take a little more out the other side. So I just flipped it around, bark side this way, took it down to 3 5/8. Then I was able to flip it up, take a cap cut off, and I wanted that cap cut to set me at my height so that I could run right down to the deck. Now, I wasn't sure about the bark on it. If I had the laser, it'd be easier to see. I can get a 1x or more out of that, but for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to get it down to that height that I needed, which, if memory serves, was 8.5 inches. Sounds right, but maybe it was 8 5/8. Honestly, now I can't even remember. I sometimes write them down because I'll do that. I'll be like, wait, what was I at? Squirrel. Anyway, I wanted to get it down to that height and then just knock it to the deck. Then I could take those flitches and put them back up and do something with them, and that's what I'm gonna do now. All right, well, hope you saw what we did there. Now, on the flitches, I'm not as concerned about those in terms of the stress, because those are cap cuts and flitch cuts that have come off on all 4 sides. There's going to be face bends and crowns in those. That's going to happen. Not much you can do about that. Just accept that and decide what you're going to do with it. One thing I noticed, went through, got all that done, no problem. Looks good. The mill's running great, so I'm super thrilled about that, folks. I'm telling you right now, might not look like it, but it's hot and I'm hungry. So I'm gonna be taking lunch. But one of the things I noticed is started cutting waves. And big Ponderosa Pine, old Ponderosa Pine with big knots, those knots are hard. These bandsaws can have a tendency to cut waves on them. You've got to pay attention, and when you see it happening, which I did today, the first thing that I do is I change the band out. Now I happen to know that this band I used last time, and I decided to heck with it. I'd been using it when I was testing the mill and everything. It should be sharp enough, it should be fine, so I left it on. It seemed to be cutting just fine, but I am cutting a little bit of waves. So I'll change the band out first, put a new band on, load a log up, take a slab cut out of it, and see what it looks like. If it's looking flat, I'll take a flitch cut and move on. If I start to see waves, then I'm gonna stop and I'll look at my drive belt tension, because that is the #1 cause of cutting waves. Now, big knotty pine, spruce, stuff like that, those knots can be super hard, and super hard knots can cause that band to rise or fall if you're going too fast cutting through the wood. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just so happy to be milling again. I decided to let it roll through this one because this is my log for my use, not an issue. I could take a little bit of wave and deal with it when I'm back at the shop. Partly because this is just essentially going to be a false wall that I'm going to hide anyway. I just want to be able to put some insulation in there and then throw some paneling or something up on it, and it'll all be hidden. It'll be behind shelves. So it's not that important to me. It's not structural. It's not even something you're going to mostly see. Whatever, I can deal with it. But I will change the band. I will check it to see if I'm cutting flat, nice, no, smooth, no waves. If I'm hitting the waves, well, I ain't surfing. So time to pull everything apart, check the drive belt tension, and if I've got to do that, I'm going to bring it to you. And I'm going to anyway at some point, so today might be the best day to do it. We'll find out. So for now, I'm going to go take lunch. It's a perfect time. I'm hungry, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so why not, right? But there you have it for that one. And I really appreciate your watching, folks. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop me a comment, say hi, ask me a question. I always answer. And if you're not subscribed, do me a favor, it's actually free. If you hit that subscribe button, it costs you nothing, but it actually helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it if you do. So y'all have a great day. I'm going to drop a video right here for you to check out. Y'all have a great day. The old jarhead out.